Alright, so I'm going to talk to you today about container gardening. So, pots. Most people think of pots and they'll go out and they'll buy some terracotta pots and they'll put annuals in it. All one level. I like to do different levels and big container glazed pots. That's my passion. I've got some pictures of some pots I'm going to send around so you can take a look at that also. But scale is a really important thing. If you want to make a focal point of a little area that needs a bit of interest, on a patio, in the garden even, you can add some really cool big glazed pots. You can have a set of 3 and make it some interest, large, small, medium, or you could just do some really big pots, and you'll see some of the pictures, some big pots. So my concept today is thriller, filler, spiller. That is for any, really, the garden, but especially for containers. So this particular plant is a butylon, and I would consider this a focal point. So that would be the thriller. So you'd pick one really beautiful plant and you would center it maybe, or you'd maybe off-center a little bit, but it would be the center of your container. This one is a phormium, and it's very structural, and this is definitely a thriller. So this really makes a statement. So this would be for sun, this would be for sun, and maybe a fuchsia for a shade plant. So this is really pretty, it blooms a lot of the year too. So this fuchsia or this butylon. So you pick your main focal point, and then you want to do filler. So fillers is just like the middle level. You can do kind of like a little bit of a daintier look. So this has got some pink in the leaf, so I would maybe put this gaura with it, and that would be, maybe 3, not just one of something, but 3 around. Depends on how big the pot is. But see how it picks up the pink of the striations in the phormium? So that might be a filler. This is a salvia, a blue salvia. And that might be, if you wanted a complementary color instead of a monochromatic, this light blue would be a nice complement to the burgundy and the pinks of the phormium. So, different fillers. This is another salvia. So I've used this before. With that, you could put it with this and have the blues and the pinks together. So more than just one. Thanks. For shade, this is a fern called a mother fern, and I just love the color and the texture. It comes out chartreuse and it changes to a mid-green. And this is a purple little thing called a heuchera. So this is like this all year. It does flower in the spring, but I just love the foliage. So look at that and that together as a nice complement. Or this is a carex for shade. So maybe some strappy with the fuchsia for the middle, and then still have something spilling down. So many different options. The spillers. I always like to have a few things coming out of the pot. Not so much that it covers your beautiful pot, but spillers are really nice. This is one for kind of a semi-shade or shade. This is called Lisamurphy Earrings. It holds the yellow nicely. So if you had, something with the yellow, the chartreuse, that, the fern and this, and still this in front of it would be a nice combo. Just keeping it simple with 2 different colors rather than a riot of color. This is another one for the shade. It's called Glycome, and it really spills down. So, if it gets too long, you just snip it so you can still see your beautiful pot, but it's still a nice spiller. This is another nice little one called a parahebe. So that's, to me, would be a little filler. just a nice little dainty white bloom around, not scale of course, but this would be pretty and still have a spiller. This is a verbena, so if you want a purple, a splash of purple coming out of your pot, that would be nice. So always think of it in layers. Some more spillers. Bacopa blooms a lot of the year. Winter, when not much else is blooming, this is spilling and blooming all winter. White, or it comes in purple. And then million bells, of course. I love these for just a shot of colour all year. They are a perennial, not an annual, so they'll come back each year. You might have to cut them back in the winter a little bit because they look a bit raggedy, but they just give you a lot of colour. They come in yellow and pink and purple and terracotta and lots of choice.
What are those called again? I'm sorry.
This is called Tequila Sunrise.
And what's the plant called?
Million Bells.
Million bells. Okay.
Calabracula is the botanical name. This is a beautiful little thing called a hardy geranium, and that spills really well too. It makes a nice ground cover on the ground. I tuck these in pots, and it has this fuchsia pink flower, so that might go nicely with that, because it's really a good juxtaposition of texture. And this one is a lantana, a white lantana, thanks. You know, so that's a ground cover if it's planted in the ground, but it also makes a beautiful spiller, full sun lantana. So the bacopa would be if you want a splash coming out of your pot for shade, and lantana if you've got full cooking sun. This will hold up really well. So, thank you. So, just since this is a salvia, it's a little damaged in my truck. But this is another real pretty salvia that will go all summer into fall. So that to me would be a filler. With that maybe once again. So different layers in the garden and in a pot. So remember, thriller, filler, spiller. And then the last plant I want to show you is this succulent, because I love succulents, and I just think they're fantastic structurally. So you can grow this in the sun, half shade. You can even put it in shade, but look at that, to have an airy fern and then a strong structural plant like a succulent would be a nice, interesting combination too, if you want to just texture, no colour. So lots of choices, but to make it interesting, instead of just one plant, get big enough pots that you could do layers in your pots, in your containers, and you make a statement just that way. So